So we're going to brush up the area. We're going to provide some pattern in the rendering. Maybe in some places I need to put on a second layer. In that case we just provide key, and we're going to brush it with, I have a selection of brushes. I have wire brushes, I have copper wire brushes, and I have a soft and a hard normal hand brush. And we gotta see, in some places the render might be too soft for the wire brush, in some places the render might be too hard for a soft hand brush. So yeah, we're just going to experiment carefully. Yeah, this whole wall needs at least one more coat, one more layer. Yeah. Yeah, well, so far it's a bit disappointing. It hasn't adhered that well to the wall. Yeah, maybe it just needs more time curing. I noticed that when I had the rendering in the cement mixer, after mixing for a while it became really fluffy and less dense, and that's probably not a good thing. Yeah, unfortunately I cannot finish this job today. Bugger. I'll have to I'll have to let it cure at least for 48 more hours, I would think, and then reassess it. If it's well adhered, then go over it with a layer, hopefully the final layer, and otherwise I could just scrape it all off. Yeah, well, you win some, you lose some. At least this is enough key. If it would completely cure in how it's now, then we'll have a firm layer to work on. So I'm on the way to our favorite brocante shop, where I have reserved 11 square meters of tomate. Tomate is a traditional tile, floor tile. They are usually square, and I think the original ones are like maroon color. We're going to install them on the floor of the bathroom. Well, that's still a bit away, but once you get hold of these things that you really want, and they're not factory made, mass produced, you just gotta buy them. You just gotta get them, because they'll be gone otherwise, potentially. So I hope that they have brought them to the roadside, otherwise it's gonna be a whole lot of carrying. I think about 500 kilos or so, they said. Alright, I'm feeling strong today. We bought so many things for our home here. They have good prices and beautiful stuff, and hopefully they'll give me a hand with the tomatoes today. Here they are. Yeah, they have several tiles here, several sorts of tomate. This is an older one. Needs quite a bit of work because they are all not the same in height. So that's a little bit difficult to install, especially for a bathroom floor, because eventually that needs to be watertight, right? So we have decided to go for these. These are, I think, mass-produced. Well, they're all mass-produced, but these are more factory-produced, and they are all the same size and all the same thickness, really important, and a fairly flat surface. So with a product, we can make sure that the surface is waterproof, watertight. They are the other ones, the older ones, are more beautiful, I find, but it's just a lot more complicated to install, and the chance of getting problems later with them. Yeah, we go for these. Later on the ground floor, while the roof, while the ceiling, the floor of the second floor lays on beams, and a number of these beams may need to be replaced. And I'm just going to get these second-hand old wooden beams instead of new ones from the brico shops. You know, so we stay, yeah, with old material and we reuse it, and it'll probably be about the same price as brand new wood. Plus, the big benefit is that it's not working anymore. It's not expanding, contracting as much as anymore. It's old. It's good stuff. So that is more or less 500 tomate tiles. Not the oldest ones, not the most beautiful ones, but still looking pretty good, and a lot easier to install than the antique ones. So I have a problem with the rendering. What happened was I mixed my lime with my sand. I used an O2 grade of sand, which is a very small grain, and I mixed 2.5 sand to 1 part of this colored lime, Saint-Astiere. I mixed it in the cement mixer and I let it run quite long, the cement mixer, and I noticed that I would take a batch out, I would put it on, and another batch would still be running in the cement mixer. And I noticed that the longer it was in the cement mixer, the fluffier the render became, until it became so fluffy like whipped cream. Now that smears on really nice, and it works really nice, and it's light, but of course there's so much air inclusion in it, and then it starts to harden out that it becomes a porous layer. And I was already afraid that it was going to be this porous layer, and it has become a very porous layer. I can just press it in. It's been sitting on here now for 3 days, so it is cured basically. In fact, it will cure over more time, but it's cured enough to make an assessment, and the assessment is that it's just not good. I can press it in, I can just sweep the render off with a brush. I've got to do it again. Now, there's several ways of putting render on a wall. There's this the French way of flick it on, with the trowel. Here's a clip of my neighbor who I saw rendering a wall yesterday, and he's rendered a lot in his life. So I followed him a little bit around. Have a look. Yeah, that is the clawed way, and that is the normal, most used way here in France. But I find it really hard on the wrist to do that. So I prefer to just put my render on a trowel and smear it on and pressing it on. I've done the small house inside and out like that, and it has worked. It's good. The problem is just that the render is not good. I've asked Claude as well how he mixed his render, and he just put everything together in a wheelbarrow and mixed it by hand. Of course, by doing that you don't get too much air inclusion in your render. I have watched many videos on lime rendering, lime pointing on YouTube, and yeah, the most common way is to use a cement mixer, mixing it all very well. But I think today what I need to do is just brush all this faulty render off and doing it again, and I'm going to mix it by hand. I have used in the past on the small house the same brand of lime render, but not the colored one, and an NHL value of 3.5, and this one is 2. Maybe that has something to do with it. Maybe that makes it foamy and fluffs it up when it rotates too long. I don't know, but I do know that I have to redo this today. There's really no other way. Right, I made a little batch, just a tiny little batch of lime render, and I mixed it by hand. It's not fluffy at all, and I'm gonna try to get it on somehow. And if it does not work for whatever reason, then I gotta take another precaution. Hey, he's coming to visit us. This is really not the right time, sweetie. Oh boy. This is not the right time, because you know, once you splat this on, mortar will go falling all the way. I can't do that flicking, it's just too hard on the wrist. just like Edward Scissorhands, you know, the guy with So a new coat, in some places 2 coats, like over there. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty happy. Yeah, you see the color differences, but that's all going to blend in. It does not look too perfect, and that's a good thing, because we need to have it rustic looking. Like there you see some pattern. Yeah, well, once this is cured it will look good, and otherwise we can touch it up later anyway. So I'm really happy that this is done, because that means that I can start with the next phase right now, which is laying the floor, the wooden decking. The wooden decking has been laying here for 6 months or so. I bought it when I thought that I was going to work a little faster, but we had the winter. Yeah, anyway, this is, yeah, I'm pretty happy. Some detailing, some good cleaning. Oh, I need a wash. I'm going into my woodworking gear tomorrow. See you next time.